Hello and welcome back to Living Inspired with Autism. My name is Antoinette and I'm a life coach for parents of autistic children. And I'm also mom to my own autistic son, Max, who has high needs and considered non-verbal. This is the space for parents who are raising incredible children while also learning how to hold themselves together, grow, and actually live their lives in the process. I'm so glad you're here today because I am starting something really special. I'm starting a brand new series, or actually I should say the first episode on emotional skills. And what are you feeling? And do you even know what those feelings are? So for the next 5 weeks, I'm going to be talking about these emotional skills. And I want to tell you something up front. This might be one of the most important series that I will ever teach. Because one of the things that I've come to realize, not just as a coach, but as a mom as well, we are trying to travel through one of the most emotionally demanding journeys there is. Raising a child with autism, with additional needs, and also we're dealing with life in general. And nobody has actually taught us how to deal with our emotions. Not properly and not on a deep level, not in the way that would actually work in real life. And the result of that is we're feeling overwhelmed, we feel exhausted, we feel like we're constantly reacting, we have anger, sadness, frustration, etc., lots of feelings, and then we feel guilty for reacting. And underneath all of that, we don't even know exactly what it is that we're feeling. So, before we dive into the first skill, I want to give you an idea that may be a little surprising. Most people think emotional health means being happy, but it doesn't. And that misunderstanding alone causes us so much unnecessary suffering. Because if you think that you're supposed to be happy all the time, and every time you're not, it's like, oh crap, something's gone wrong. Maybe I'm not living my life the way I'm supposed to. Maybe I'm not doing what I'm supposed to with my child. Or maybe it's you. Maybe you think something's wrong with you. But being emotionally healthy isn't about happiness. It's about the ability to experience being human, like as in fully. And that includes the good and the bad or the hard. Now, I've spoken about this before if you've been listening to me for a while. Life is 50-50. Half of it's going to feel good. The other half is going to feel really shitty. And when you realize that, you start seeing things differently. Because suddenly, you don't feel weak because you're overwhelmed. You're not wrong because you feel frustrated. You're not a bad parent because you feel resentment towards your children and your life sometimes. You are just human. Okay, so the first emotional skill is identifying your emotions. So what are you feeling? Now, that sounds very simple, but in actual fact, it's not. So most people cannot actually tell you what they are feeling. And this was me in the beginning. I started with, I'm having a good day or bad. I'm feeling good or I'm feeling bad. And back then, I was feeling mostly bad. And then I added maybe happy and sad, and so on. So if I asked you right now, what are you feeling? You'd probably say something like, I feel fine, I'm tired, I'm a little stressed, I'm busy. But those aren't precise emotions. Now, the analogy I want to make is like, think about groceries. Now, groceries is sort of a general term for food and everything else that goes in there. It's when you go food shopping. So imagine you want your husband to go food shopping for you, and you give them a little slip and it says groceries. He is not going to know what you need. You have to know exactly what it is that you want from the store. And you may even go down a little bit and you go, getting a little bit more specific. Okay, so imagine you put down, I need vegetables, I need fruit, I need meat on the list. Now he's going to kind of know sort of in which direction he needs to go in the grocery store, but he's still not going to know exactly what it is that you want. I mean, when you go to vegetables, you can say, okay, I would like a head of broccoli, but I would like it from the organic section. That is a little bit more specific. Or you say you want frozen spinach. That's a little bit more specific. So when you think of feelings and good or bad or fine or tired, those are more like an emotional blur. And when everything's blurred, it's like groceries, you can't work with that. Nobody knows what to get if you just say groceries. Now, why does this matter? The more specific you get about your emotions, the more power you have in your life, because emotions drive everything. It drives your reactions, it drives your decisions, it drives your patience, it drives your connection with your child, everything. And if you don't understand what you're feeling, you are essentially being driven by something that you don't know, you can't see it. All right, so let me give you an example. Let's say your kiddo is having a behavior moment, which is exactly what happened to me yesterday. My kiddo got off the bus and he took a swipe at the driver when he walked past her. Luckily, he didn't connect. And generally in a moment like that, you are going to feel something. I felt something. I'm a lot better now with my emotions. But in the beginning, most parents, and I would have said, oh, I feel so bad. But let's slow that down. Are you feeling bad? Or are you feeling embarrassed? Maybe helpless? Frustrated? Humiliated? Resentful? Because each of those emotions leads to a very different response. Because if you're going to feel embarrassed, like I would have in the beginning, you might rush and panic and try to control the situation, grab him, pull him off the bus. And if you're feeling helpless, you might shut down. Or if you're feeling frustrated, you might snap at your child. But if you can name the emotion, you can start to understand what's happening. And then your results are going to be different. So a lot of parents tell me that they feel anxious all the time, but anxiety is often not the real emotion. It's one of those blanket emotions. It's a resistance to another emotion. It's what happens when you're trying not to feel something else. So instead of feeling sadness maybe, or fear or grief, your brain creates anxiety. I know when I'm starting to feel anxious, there's a lot of fear behind my anxiety. So when you're in a situation, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And be honest, even if it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable, because then you know you're on the right track. So I remember a couple of years ago with Max, there's this shopping center that we used to go to that had this Christmas show on every December. There were lights and a tree and a craft market and lots of decorations. And I don't know why I thought this was a good idea to go. Nevertheless, we went. And the first 30 minutes we walked around and everything was great. And we sat down at a restaurant, we had a meal, and then everything just went to hell in a handbasket. The noise, the people, the unpredictability, everything. And Max lost his shit. And I could feel myself just cringing inside. And my usual response would have been to try and calm him down, manage him, and just kind of keep going so that we could do all the things that we wanted to do. But then I stopped myself and I was asking, what am I really feeling? And the answer actually surprised me because I wasn't feeling stress or humiliation or anything like that. I was feeling sadness. And underneath that, grief. And not in bawling my eyes kind of way, but just in a quiet way, because I so much wanted Max to experience all the cool things for Christmas. You know, the things that most kids would really enjoy. And it was just too much for him. And in that moment, I just allowed that sadness. I didn't react in the same way. I didn't fight the moment. I was just sitting there with that. I was present with the emotion. And then we got out of there. So when you can name the emotion, you can stop fighting it. And when you stop fighting it, it actually just loses the intensity. All right, so I just want to stop here for a moment and let you know that I have decided to open up some once-off one-on-one coaching sessions. So you don't have to book a few sessions. You can do one-on-one, once-off sessions with me, one-on-one. And why did I do this? I'll tell you. Because we have moments like the one that I've just described above. An incident. I won't say a once-off incident because it never really is. And if you aren't savvy with your emotions, as most parents aren't because they haven't been taught how, we have this real visceral reaction to those kind of incidents. And you want to avoid that kind of situation because of it above all else. But I want to encourage you to work through that kind of situation with me and learn what is actually happening and to handle it like a pro when it happens again, because of course it will. And I don't want you to stop having experiences because you are scared of what you are going to feel. So that's the reason I'm offering to do these once-off sessions. Because you can listen to podcasts, you can understand concepts, but applying it to your life, that's where I come in. That's where the real transformation happens. So in these once-off coaching sessions, we take something that you're experiencing right now, something that may feel overwhelming or confusing, and we slow it right down. We look at what you're actually feeling, what's driving it, and then how to respond from a place of calm and self-leadership. Even if there is some situation or some feeling that you want to talk out, and it may not be a triggering situation at the moment, just maybe something that's on your mind, I want to invite you to book a once-off session with me because I am here to help you. All right, so let's get back. So right now, identifying your emotion isn't about fixing it. We'll talk about that in later episodes. Right now, it's just about becoming awareness. It's about being curious instead of reacting. So here's something simple that you can start doing today. Once a day, take a moment and just check in with yourself. How are you feeling right now? Now, I try to do most mornings, if I have a chance, I do sort of a 15-minute meditation. And I do this by just dropping into my body to actually feel if there's any emotion going on. And sometimes I don't really have a name for it to start off with, but once I just sit with it for a while, something usually pops up. Now, maybe you don't have 10 minutes, so you can do it whenever during the day. You can set an alarm on your phone once an hour and just drop into your body and sit with that emotion. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And don't rush the answer. You might even want to write it down, because the idea is to start building your emotional vocabulary. Because the more words you have, the more clarity you create. You are not your emotions. You experience them, and when you learn to identify with them, you step into a different level of self-leadership. So that's where we're starting, not with fixing or controlling, but with awareness, because this is the first step to emotional strength. So in the next episode, we are going to be talking about allowing your emotions. All right, so that's what I have for you today. If you would like some help trying to figure out your emotions as the first step, please reach out. The link for the once-off sessions will be down below in the show notes. I can help. All right, everyone. Till next week. Bye.